Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the figure reveals for Transformers 1. Season 2 of Earthspark has been announced with a small trailer, and Hasbro Pulse also had their live stream today revealing a lot of Studio Series figures, as well as a few more reveals coming down the pipeline. So I've got a lot to talk about, so sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch. Links are in the description below. So before I get started, I do want to thank each and every one of you who has continued to watch my videos as Transformers hits its 40th anniversary. I have a new retrospective coming. All of the dust and dirt and everything that gets in everybody's eyes, you know, those kind of things, or what to expect in the next retrospective. So let's get into the Transformers news. Okay, so the new figure reveals for Transformers 1 are now showing us a glimpse of what the movie is going to be like. I think that the movie is going to be cramming a lot of different Transformers lore into a brand new continuity for a new movie that I'm hoping opens the door for new Transformers fans. It seems to be where they're going, but as I'm seeing more and more of the Transformers 1 stuff, I'm beginning to think that this is actually connected to maybe Transformers Earthspark. And the reason for that is because, well, E1 is responsible for financing Transformers 1 as an animated feature. And there's a lot of, like, some of the same feeling as the movie is concerned. But that might not necessarily be the case. It's supposed to be not connected to any continuity according to what they've stated. And what we're seeing here is Quintessons and different battle charging Transformers with light up gimmicks, little bot shot things that they're doing. Like, a lot of older figures seem to be repurposed or retooled or reused for Transformers 1 to try and get as much stuff on the shelf as possible for this movie, because they're anticipating there's going to be a lot of new, younger demographic getting into the world of the Transformers with this movie. Which brings us to Transformers Earthspark. Now, I have the feeling and notion that E1 already financed 2 seasons of the cartoon. And, you know, they've been trying to get season 2 finished in order to get out there. And I have a feeling, because to my understanding, E1 has been sold off from Hasbro, that this is going to be the last season of Transformers Earthspark, whether or not it's successful or not. And not everybody is into Transformers Earthspark, and that is understandable. It does kind of steer towards a younger feeling, just like Transformers 1 does, which is why I kind of have that feeling that, like, Transformers 1 and Earthspark have a little bit of connection here and there in how the two, it would explain why you have this Megatron who, you know, how does he turn from best friends to Optimus to Space Hitler to all of a sudden just like, I'm a good guy now. Like, I never ever got behind that, and that is something that Earthspark does, and that's something that you know, Transformers 1 is kind of doing the same thing with. But that being said, it doesn't necessarily mean that Earthspark is the worst show in the world. There are other things that some people like and some people don't like about it, and that's understandable. But some people like it, some people don't. I don't blame you if you don't like it. I don't think this is going to be more than, the second season is going to be airing June 7th. And then they are going to have a, you know, it's going to be like the first few episodes, and then they're going to air the next set of episodes on Paramount Plus. And I think that Earthspark is only going to go 2 seasons. That's just my own personal take. I could be wrong. I don't know. If you like Earthspark, great. If you hate it, great. It's got different tastes for different people. So it is what it is. Now, Hasbro themselves are going to be licensing out their Transformers brand to other toy companies, and they made a little deal with Mattel in order to give them their own Hot Wheels scaled transforming Optimus Prime. Yeah, this is a little small die-cast Optimus made by Mattel. It's completely die-cast, like all the arms, the legs, the chest, all of it's die-cast. Kind of crazy, and it's rubber tires, but the fists are removable. The gun obviously is removable as well, and it's tiny. It's a little tiny Hot Wheels licensed Optimus Prime. Looks great, but the price tag, it's $80 for a really tiny Optimus. You can even see him scaled next to his actual G1 toy. So if you get the missing link, which is the same scale as this, $80 for a tiny Optimus. $80 shipped from Takara can get you a trailerless, cartoon-colored G1 Optimus in that scale, missing link. I'm not seeing the value. At $80, it's very steep. You know, I said in my last video about the missing link, Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. It turns out that it's actually like $31. It's just that Amazon is charging like another $10 in order to get it. So it's like $30, probably also plus shipping because you're getting it from Japan. But we haven't seen any like links to be able to get the missing link Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. But a Hot Wheels figure, I mean, for the collector who wants to have like another Optimus, but it's all die cast. That's the thing. It's all die cast, so that's why you're probably spending so much more money for it. But it's still very expensive. It's steep. Now, as I said before, Hasbro had their pulse stream today, revealing a lot of different figures. They also showed some of the stuff down the pipeline for Legacy, as well as making announcements for stuff that is happening this weekend. I will say right away that yes, I am going this weekend to my local theater with my kids, my wife, as well as her friend from church, as her son is starting to get into Transformers and has been watching my channel. I'll give a shout out to you, for that, because we're all going together. It's going to be a big event to see G1 on the big screen. That's going to be really, really exciting, and I'll talk more about that. The first figure reveal, though, that they showed was Steeljaw. And when I saw this figure, I was like, yeah, I definitely want it in my collection, but there are some things that I feel that are missing out of this. I like the fact that the figure has all of the, weapons are built into the robot mode. They're not removable. Because a lot of times, like, the old cassette figures, you'd had the cassette, it comes out, it transforms, and then you had to add the weapons. Here now it's all incorporated, which, I mean, even if you have Studio Series 86 Rumble, it's the same thing. You are removing those guns, but that is because in robot mode, he does hold it. So it makes sense to have it removable. But with Steeljaw, he never had it removable. So I like the lion mode, but I don't like the legs. The legs feel kind of off. I wish that they were gray and then you had the yellow paws, and I really would like to see if maybe a third party or whomever, or another person can kind of come up with an upgrade kit to kind of swap out those legs to give us like better ones. But he's going to be tiny. He's going to be small enough to fit in Studio Series 86 Blaster or Legacy Blaster. That's the whole reason why he is the size that he is. And he looks great. Now, he also comes with this attachment, which is a subwoofer. He didn't have it in the movie, but there's a reason why that he comes with this subwoofer. And that's because they show here, because as you can see how tiny he is, very, very small, which that's where I don't hate the figure for its size, because they are trying to get that figure to be, in scale with the Blaster figure. But the subwoofer that he comes with has a specific purpose. You can attach it to your Blaster figure, and to my understanding, Ramhorn is going to come with the other one. So each of the two animal cassettes for Blaster are going to have the subwoofers that he used in the cartoon episode Autobop. He actually fought Soundwave one-on-one in Autobop and used the 2 subwoofers in order to stop Soundwave. That's how he got that little extra power. So getting Steeljaw with the subwoofer as an added bonus, I think is worth it. You know, I think it's very well worth it. I hope that, we see Ramhorn in the near future. Now, the next Studio Series figure that they've revealed is for the Gamer Edition Decepticon Soldier. This is your typical troop builder. Now, while this is meant for the War for Cybertron video game, this kind of does work as a Viacon drone. Like, if you wanted to have, like, your troop builder Viacons, like from Transformers Prime, this is your Cybertronian version of that, robot. And it does have a Cybertronian car mode. Yes, it is a retool of Barricade. You kind of expected that, since most of the vehicles that they used in those games were Cybertronian vehicles. This is kind of cool to have as a troop builder. The one here they have is green. There were ones in different colors. So it is worth it to the fan who wants to have like a troop building of Decepticon, troopers. The next thing that I think is really awesome looking is Skywarp. And I'm glad that they're doing Skywarp for the Bumblebee movie. They already did Thundercracker. They've done Starscream. They did the Armada colored version of Thrust, which was in green instead of his old maroon. And then, of course, you had Skywarp here, which there were 2 in this color scheme that you saw in the Bumblebee movie. So I think it looks great. I actually like the color scheme quite a bit. I do like the alternate mode for a Tetrajet. Personally speaking, I like the Siege mold a little bit better, but some folks like this look to it. Either way, it's kind of cool. It's, different strokes for different folks. But I think the big thing that I've heard a lot of people say is they really want to see Transformers Cybertron Starscream colored as Skywarp. That would actually be very, very cool. Now, when I first saw the leaks for the listings for this guy, I said they're gonna have to impress me, whether it's a retool or whether it's a straight new mold. I wanted to see what they did with Springer. I like the Siege figure. I have the Siege figure, painted on my shelf over there. But I was like, if they can improve upon that and actually make a better figure overall, you might impress me and win me over. To have to go out and buy a figure again that is, more of a smaller upgrade than it was before. And something? I think they did it. They actually impressed me. I do like the look of this Springer figure. I like the fact that these shoulder pads are a little bit more mobile. They aren't so strict, so it allows his arms to move a little bit better than they could before. He comes with his sword that he used to fight Wreck-Gar with. He has a hammer because if you know the history of Springer in the comics, is that he was a prominent member of the Wreckers, and having the Wreckers hammer is kind of a cool addition. Now, mind you, he never had the hammer in the cartoon or anything like that, but it is kind of neat that they did so. I also like the chest, changing. It actually looks like, because they changed the chest up a little bit, he is going to be able to transform a little bit easier than he could before. He's going to have, opening and closing hands. They actually given him different tooling for a lot of different parts on him. So he stands taller than he did before, and he has more parts than he has before, but his, vehicle modes are pretty much the same. If you notice the backpack, they actually, changed it so that he has like these, it's a little bit different in the way that the vehicle mode looks for both the helicopter and for his car mode, which does, play a factor here because the swords that the Siege figure had were not that great. And I'm actually impressed with the sword that transformed. Like, he actually has a silver sword, and then he has a second sword that transforms into his helicopter blades. That's a great improvement. Really great improvement. I did not like the Siege figure's helicopter blades. I didn't like the way that that whole thing worked. So this is a massive improvement of what it was before. And I also like the fact it doesn't have battle damage. That's a big improvement too. And of course, then you have his car mode. It's more like a rocket car, than anything else. Like he's kind of a weird Cybertronian rocket car. And then of course he has his helicopter mode. And I like the additions that they've done to it. Of course, the helicopter blade is removable because it's his sword. So the other thing that he comes with as well is the rocket, in which he says, "I've got better things to do tonight than die." That was something he said in the movie. And they decided to give him that rocket for him to hold. And it is blast effect compatible. So you will be able to add all the blast effects for it to have it fire on Decepticons, because that's how they used it in Transformers the movie. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I was really, really skeptical on this guy. Like, the entire idea behind just retooling Siege Springer, I'm like, I'm already happy with that figure, but you've really got to impress me. Well, they did. They've impressed me. Overall, they've definitely impressed me with him. He comes with all of these accessories. He comes with his cartoon accurate blaster. It looks like he's also coming with his siege weapons as well. And in addition to the retooling, the sword that turns into helicopter blades, the sword that he used in the movie, and the hammer, as well as, so he comes with a lot of accessories. So I see the value in a leader class for him, because they've improved upon him that much. I've seen some people complaining about how they've been taking a Voyager and they upscale it to a leader class figure. And I go, I agree with you. That's the reason why Starscream sat on the shelves. It's like, you want me to spend all that money for a chair? For a Starscream figure that I already have? Well, I got it on sale. So, I was at least able to do that. And I did so because I also like the chair and the crown. Like, when my kids saw Starscream souped up with all the shoulder pads and everything, they're like, that's so cool. That's just like when Galvatron shot him. I kid you not. That's what my kids said. So for this, the improvements on the Siege figure for Springer are actually above and beyond what they did, in comparatively speaking. So I think this is something that they've done to win me over. And next up, we have Deluxe Class Bumblebee. And this one looks fantastic in robot mode. He's not a parts former. There won't be any detaching chest or anything like that. He comes with his blaster, that he used in the cartoon, and his robot mode looks awesome. Straight up out of the cartoon. That's exactly what you wanted out of a Bumblebee. You had the Legacy figure for animated, and now you got a G1 Bumblebee, and it looks like it draws some of the same similarities to the Netflix Bumblebee, but at the same time, it's very, very, very different. The thing that kind of bugged me, and pun intended, was the vehicle mode, because it's super deformed. I know that's what they were going for. It literally looks like a Korokyu, or I believe that's how you pronounce it, or a Korokyu, super deformed, Volkswagen Beetle. And I would have preferred if it was stretched out just a little bit. It looks more like Cliffjumper than it does Bumblebee. And I can really see them utilizing this mold to make the throttle bots. I would not be opposed to that. I could also see them going ahead and doing Glyph and Tap Out, and maybe a Bug Bite they could do. Who knows? But then I saw the actual figure in person, and this is where, looking at it from the side, from this angle, the car mode looks fine. It's that, 3/4 angle that looks weird. And it's because this is direct from the cartoon animation model from some shots from some episodes. And I think that's where they went with it. And they also said that there's a reason why the windows are gray instead of blue or translucent. And that has to do with the transformation. I can understand that. I think this looks better from this angle than it does in the stock photos. which really goes to show you that like an in-hand person photo will, can impress you and win you over. And I think that they've done it for this figure as well. I have the Netflix Bumblebee, so I'm like a little torn. Do I get this figure and give the Netflix Bumblebee to my kids? Like, what do I do here? Because I only need one Bumblebee in my collection and a Goldbug. And this one does hit that like a lot of different spots for a lot of fans. And I think that the G1 fan who wanted an updated Bumblebee and missed out on Netflix Bumblebee, this is going to be like definitely something for you. This was like a winner for me today. This was like the one figure in this whole stream where I was like, I don't care, I got to get it. Like, I want Gears, now I want Straxus. Straxus is definitely an awesome looking figure. If you don't know who Straxus is, in the Marvel comics, the original G1 Marvel comics, and if you watch my Blaster retrospective, you'll know who Straxus is. He was the Decepticon leader on Cybertron in a city called Darkmount. He was a tyrant. He was nasty. He was mean. He would send every Transformer that defied him into the smelting pool, including one of Blaster's closest friends. And Blaster went in to actually go and rescue him. Was not successful, but and then he fought Straxus on the space bridge. And this appearance of what he looked like, is like literally from his first appearance, the red, the blue, all of that. And then his vehicle mode, since he is a retool of Galvatron, is like literally straight out of the comic book. This alternate mode for him. The pickaxe actually becomes the spikes to actually match the comic book as well. Again, watch my Blaster retrospective. You'll know who Straxus is. But they also showed with the live stream itself that the pickaxe he can hold, and then he is a retool of Galvatron. It is part of the whole comic book thing. But the Blaster itself does match is designed to actually go on his back, or he can hold it as a handheld weapon, which I do think is cool as well. And the artwork for it, again, Blaster versus Straxus. This was issue 18. I'm curious as to what Transformer is on the cover, because they showed the boxes for Shockwave, Grimlock, and Straxus here. I'm curious who the fourth one is, whether or not it's a Blaster figure. And the reason why I say that is because if they do Blaster, then it's probably going to have a toy accurate head. That would be cool. But I definitely say I want this Straxus figure in my collection. Like, he looks awesome, straight up. And this here is where the live stream kind of went towards the stuff that like I don't collect. I am not a Beyblade collector. I know Takara Tomy sells Beyblade, and some people are big into that. Having a Transformers themed one is cool. Not my thing. They also talked about this thing that is this weekend. May 15th, 18th, and 19th is the Select Cinema reading for the Transformers cartoon with an exclusive table read for the first episode. I think this is awesome. It's going to be an experience for my kids. It's going to be an experience for their, the friends that are coming, to be able to see it on the big screen and have that experience of watching the original cartoon, how Transformers first started for its 40th anniversary. I'm super excited for this. Really, really excited for this. And they're also doing a vinyl. They are releasing the soundtrack for the original Transformers cartoon. The music is coming out September 17th, of all things. They're going to be releasing, I think it's coming sooner than that for the actual vinyl, but the digital release is going to be with the anniversary of the cartoon. And it's cool. I don't collect vinyl, but I would like the digital files for the music. Sandbush also came on to the live stream as well to wish the Transformers 40, fans all throughout the 40 years of the franchise's history. If you don't know, he sang The Touch as well as Dare. I also interviewed him here on the channel, and maybe I might have some more actors or people who are important to the Transformers franchise on the channel in the near future. So kind of cool stuff there. Rock on, keep on rocking, Stan. The other thing they showed off was the RoboSen Megatron. Very cool. Something we saw already with previous live streams, but they wanted to talk about it a lot more. They said that 40 of the figures, if you pre-order it now, will be signed by Frank Welker himself. And since Frank Welker is going to be doing the voice for it, it is something kind of cool. Very expensive, $900. Very expensive for a Transformer, but it is the largest RoboSen, robot that they have released. And last but not least, they had a bunch of stuff for the pipeline reveals. These were things that I looked at and went, cool. They're showing stuff ahead of time, the box art already, and it gives us a better glimpse of what the toys are going to look like. The core class Megatron for Transformers Energon, no surprise, they are recoloring it as Galvatron. This one is actually kind of cool. I think that the Galvatron color scheme was a much better color scheme for that, robot. And the Energon Megatron, wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. But a Galvatron, having that in core class, I think that's kind of neat. Definitely in scale with other figures in your collection. Even if you're not a fan of Energon, the robot mode does look like G1 Galvatron, so that would be worth it for anybody who wants like a core class Galvatron to face off against, let's say, Fortress Maximus or something. They also showed off one of the Infernac universe, Rock Lord things that they're releasing. They didn't say what the figure's name was, but they did show the motorcycle mode. Quake is a character that I'm actually very excited about because it'll complete the Decepticon trio of double target masters. They already released Spinister and Siege. They released Needle Nose during Legacy, and now Quake. And both Needle Nose and Quake are here now have their double target masters. And I think that's very welcoming. It looks like it's the same exact guns that they used for Needle Nose, but they're going to be colored differently because it's going to go along with Quake. Quake is a tank. I don't know, the biggest question I always have whenever I see something like this is I wonder if it is a new mold for Quake and it's a pre-tool for another character, or if it's already a retool of another character that didn't transform into a tank but now does. We'll see where they go with it. I'm still excited because I like the idea of being able to complete that trio of Target Master Decepticons. This one is something that my daughter on a Q&A call literally asked Hasbro themselves, could you make a Slipstream figure? Why? She wanted more girl Decepticons to add to the collection. She likes the idea of having Lifeline to play with, and Black Arachnia, and Windblade, and, going along with, the fact that I'm showing off like Rodimus and Optimus and all those characters. She always gravitates towards the girl Transformers, which is perfectly fine. Now, that being said, Slipstream is something that I wanted to see something closer to Transformers animated in her appearance. And that seems to be where they're going with this here. The very first Slipstream figure that was released, I think Takara actually did, is they retooled, Thrilling 30 Windblade figure. And so they're doing that with Legacy. They're taking the Cyberverse universe Windblade from Legacy, and they're retooling her as Slipstream. Now, there are some things about this, just looking at the box art, where I'm like, okay, I like it. Looks cool. Looks great. But then there are other parts of it I'm like, I wish you could have been a little bit better. And this is me being a little bit nitpicky, but I wish the shins were just a little bit different, maybe a more Seeker styled, so to speak. And I wish the wings didn't have the VTOL wings, because Slipstream in Transformers Animated did not have the VTOL wings. She only did so in that animated figure, which was a retool of Windblade. I do like the arm cannons that they're using. I like the faux cockpit that they have here on her chest. And I like the way that the new head sculpt is going to look. I like that Windblade figure. There's room for improvement with it. But at the same time, I'm like, I wish they tooled her even more to make her more like Slipstream. And so that's where I'm like on the fence about it. I'm still going to get this figure. I still think it looks great. Now you have room to create even more female Seekers out of her. And I'm eager to see what the jet mode looks like. I'm hoping that the jet mode actually has a little bit of differences from Windblade as overall, and that's not just a head swap recolor. You know, we'll see where it goes. They're doing a deluxe class Optimus Prime. It's going to be more toy accurate colored, so he's going to have yellow eyes, but he does come with the Energon axe. This is something for the younger fan that wants a G1 style Prime to go along with all the other characters that are out there. I'm more interested in the Commander class Optimus for Studio Series 86. That's the one that I'm holding out for. I'm eager to see what that one is going to look like. Metal Hawk is one that I'm saying to myself, do I need another Metal Hawk? Some people like the retool that they did, but this one is going to be more toy accurate in colors versus the one that came out was more animation accurate. I did a Metal Hawk retrospective recently, so you can always check that out if you want to know who that character is. And he is one of the pretenders in Japan. So I'm excited about that, for people who missed out on that first release for Metal Hawk. He's a cool character. And the toy is actually a really good toy because it's a retool of Kingdom Cyclonus. So I'm eager to see what the color scheme looks like. Isn't necessarily something I have to get because I already got the first one, But we'll see what the recolor looks like. The Motor Master, I know, Transformers animated fans know him as the Motor Master, was the leader of the animated version of the Stunticons when they actually did I believe it was a BotCon exclusive story known as the Stunticon Job, was a sequel story to Transformers Animated, and this is a retool of that Optimus Prime figure with a different head. Very cool. For all of you animated fans out there, I'm glad when characters like this come out and you can, get excited for it. Soundwave is one where I have Soundwave and I hear that Buzzsaw is supposed to be coming with him. So I'm like, it's just going to be a recolor? Or is it going to be just a re-release of Netflix Soundwave? So if you missed out on Netflix Soundwave, I'm really kind of disappointed in a little bit here because I thought they were going to do a Studio Series 86 Soundwave that is retooled and has, doesn't have all that weird, junk on his arms. If they actually tool it out, I'm like, great. Now I have Netflix Soundwave, and you're going to have me wanting to get this one here. But he's going to be coming with more than one cassette. So does he come with Ravage? Does he come with a Frenzy? Does he come with Enemy? We'll see. We'll see what cassettes he comes. And this one should come as no surprise. Leader Class Galvatron for Transformers Armada. This one looks better with the Tidal Wave figure that's coming out. So I like this color scheme for the Armada fans. Not necessarily something I want for my collection. And with that said, I was kind of impressed with the pipeline stuff more than anything else. I really want that Straxus figure. Quake and Slipstream are definitely on my must-gets. But the thing that I'm most excited about out of everything here, all of this Transformers news, in my opinion, is going to be straight up going this weekend to see Transformers G1 on the big screen. That's the thing for me that I think I'm the most excited about. But I want to know what you guys think. This was a lot of Transformers news to cover, and I know that it was so much to take in here, and I know it kind of took a little bit long for the video. So leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.